When Jesus was out with his disciples one day, a young man came running up to him and bowed down before him. He's called a rich young man in some of the accounts. But this young man said, "Good master, what good thing should I do that I might have eternal life?" Jesus said, "Why do you call me good? There's none good but one, that's God." And he said to the young man, "Then you need to keep the commandments." Well, which ones of those? Jesus listed off several of the 10 commandments and also the command to love your neighbors yourself. And the young man said, "I've kept these from my youth up. What do I still lack?" And Jesus said, "Well, one thing you lack. Go sell all that you have and give to the poor, and come follow me, and you'll have great treasures in heaven." And then the young man turned and walked away sorrowfully, back to his wealth, back to all of the challenges of that wealth, and to the emptiness he felt deep inside. It's interesting, as he was walking away, Jesus didn't run to him, say, "Oh, come back, let me give you another opportunity." Instead, he turned to the disciples and said, "Boy, it's hard for a rich man to be saved. It's easier for a camel to run through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to be saved." And the disciples were flabbergasted with that whole idea. Well, Lord, if that's the case, who then can be saved? Jesus said, "Well, with men it's impossible, but with God all things are possible." And so I want you to focus for a second on that question. Who then can be saved? See, their thinking was that if someone who is doing what the commandments tell them to do, and they're wealthy, that must mean they're godly. Surely, if God would give them all of this wealth, he must have great respect for them as well. And then Jesus sort of turns the tables on them and said, "What I want you to know is that having wealth doesn't indicate that you're right with God. As a matter of fact, it's awfully tough for that rich man to be saved at all. It's so easy when you have great wealth to put your trust in that wealth rather than God." And so with this young man, what the Lord told him was that if you really want to have life, then I want to tell you what you can do. You need to get rid of that which is your God right now. That you've been worshiping that money for all these years. So get rid of that. Give it away. Give it to the poor. Come follow me. You can walk with these other men who have given up everything to be able to follow me. And in doing so, the treasures in heaven will be beyond all that you can imagine. Who can be saved? Well, I want to tell you, anyone can who is willing to make that commitment unto God. But no one can be saved who is trying to get by with the least that I can possibly do. God is calling upon us to offer ourselves unto him, to become the people that he would have us to be. God is offering to us the opportunity to be real and to be whole. But I have to be willing to make him my God, to seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and to live that life that is built around him, so that he is the center of our lives rather than trying to put ourselves at the center and having God somehow to revolve around us. It's only when God is at the primary place that we can have that salvation that he offers.